Hey, what is up mortals? It is Rinni here. And before we get into today's video, there's something I'd like to say. I'd like to let y'all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time. So, if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if this video hits 300 likes by the end of the week, we will continue this what if. Thirdly, if you guys don't know, only 41.3% of you guys are subscribed to us. So please, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the story. In this what if, we will be continuing with part 3 of what if Tanjiro from Demon Slayer is in My Hero Academia. In the last episode, Tanjiro helped Izuku in rescuing Bakugo from the sludge villain and earning the recognition of All Might. Tanjiro, alongside with Izuku, trained with All Might and later got the top score in the UA entrance exam. Tanjiro puts on his new school uniform, readying himself for his first day of his new school. He then goes downstairs for breakfast before leaving home. As he prepares to leave home, he says his goodbyes to Nezuko. "I'm going to school now." "Goodbye." Nezuko replies, "Good luck on your first day." Tanjiro meets up with Izuku before going to school together. Upon reaching their classroom, they were surprised by a giant door with the words 1A on it, wondering if the size is for better accessibility and what kind of quirk one must have to need such a massive door. As they enter the classroom, they see the glasses-wearing boy from the entrance exam yelling at Bakugo for putting his feet on the table and disrespecting school property. As the glasses-wearing boy notices Tanjiro and Izuku, he approached them, introducing himself as Tenya Ida. He then proceeds to praise Izuku for his insight, seeing that rescue points were a factor in the entrance exam, which he failed to notice. Ida turns over to Tanjiro next and asks, "You must be Tanjiro, right? The one who got the top score in the entrance exams?" As Ida finished speaking, the brunette who helped Izuku before the entrance exam appears, introducing herself as Uchako Uraraka, thanking Izuku for saving her during the entrance exams, telling Izuku that his punches were incredible. This leads to Izuku getting embarrassed and blushing. "Go somewhere else if you want to fool around." A voice that Tanjiro found familiar states. As he looks down, he sees a sleeping bag on the floor. Upon closer inspection, he realizes who is in the sleeping bag. "Sensei?" Tanjiro exclaims in shock. "Took you all 8 seconds to get quiet." Aizawa then introduces himself and instructs the students to put on their sports uniforms and meet up at the field. Tanjiro changes into his sports uniform with his katana in hand and the binding cloth around his neck, and proceeds to go to the field. Upon reaching the said field, students of Class 1A start noticing Tanjiro's scarf and ask him if he is related to Aizawa. "Well, he's actually my master," Tanjiro answers. "Oh, that's so cool!" A girl with pink skin exclaims, "What is he like?" "He can be strict at times, but he is a good teacher," Tanjiro replies. Aizawa then announces a quirk assessment test, which leads to the class complaining, asking Aizawa about the orientation, in which he responds by telling the class that heroes have no time for such leisurely events, and that he gets to decide how the class is run. Aizawa throws a ball at Tanjiro while asking, "What was your best result for softball throw in middle school?" 150 meters, Tanjiro answers, which leads to the shock of his class. "Well, you were always stronger than normal kids," Aizawa adds. "Now throw this ball with the help of your quirk." Tanjiro channels his breath of water using the ball as a medium, and throws it as if he was stabbing with his sword, creating a blade of water which pierces through the sky as he exclaims, "Water breathing! 9th form! Drop ripple!" The rest of the class watches in awe as the ball soars through the sky like a bullet, piercing a cloud as it ascends. Aizawa then shows the class his phone and says, 643 meters. Seeing the class getting excited, Aizawa then adds, "It looks fun, huh? You only have 3 years to become heroes. And are you going to have that attitude the whole time? Alright then. Whoever comes in last will get expelled from UA." Upon hearing this, Ochako protests, how unfair it is to expel someone on their first day, in which Aizawa responds by telling the class about how life is unfair and proceeds to begin the test. Later in the 50-meter dash, Tanjiro completes it in 4.49 seconds, and thanks to Tanjiro's help, Izuku finishes in 4.07 seconds, which pisses Bakugo off. Both Tanjiro and Izuku continued to do well in the test, exceptionally during the grip test, which Tanjiro and Izuku achieved top 3 and 1 respectively. Izuku ends up achieving 3rd place, and Tanjiro achieves 6th place. Seeing that Izuku did better than him, Bakugo gets extremely pissed off and charges at him while preparing a blast, yelling, "Deku!" But before Bakugo could reach Izuku, his quirk gets erased by Aizawa and is restrained by Tanjiro using the binding cloth. Aizawa then brings the short boy with the grape-like hair to the principal's office to get expelled for getting the last place in the test. Later that day, Izuku and Tanjiro walked together to the train station, and they were approached by Ida and Ochako, who joined them in their walk. "You're that Infinity Girl, right?" Ida asked. "Yeah, I'm Ochako Uraraka." Ochako introduces herself to Ida. "You're Tenya Ida, right?" Ochako then turns towards Tanjiro and Izuku and asks, "You're Kamado Tanjiro and Deku Midoriya, right?" "Deku?" Izuku replies in shock, in which Ochako responds, "That's what Bakugo called you during the fitness test, right?" "My real name is Izuku. Deku is what Kachan calls me to make fun of me," Izuku says, correcting her. "Is that so? I'm sorry," Ochako adds. "But Deku sounds like a Japanese word for you can do it, so I kinda like it." "You can call me Deku then," Deku hastily replies, with his face looking like a ripe tomato. "Aren't you accepting this too easily?" Ida asks. "Wasn't that an insult?" Tanjiro then adds, "If you're fine with it, I'll also call you Deku." The 4 friends then walk together to the train station before going their separate ways, with Tanjiro going to train at the dojo. The next day, the school went on like a typical day until it was finally time for hero basic training. "I am," All Might yells as he opens the door, "coming through the door like a normal person!" As All Might enters, the class gets visibly excited, especially Deku. Several students could not believe that All Might was actually their teacher. All Might waits for the class to calm down before announcing that they will be having combat training today and instructs everyone to change into their hero costumes. Tanjiro's hero costume is a black button top with black pants and a white belt, a green and black checkered coat, and the binding cloth on his neck, and his blade on his waist. In the first battle of Ochako and Deku versus Bakugo and Ida, knowing that Bakugo will go after him, Deku sends Ochako to go ahead by himself to scout out the area while he fights with Bakugo. Every time Bakugo charges towards him with a right hook, Deku dodges and launches a counterattack aiming to knock Bakugo out. This continues throughout the battle, which leads Bakugo getting more and more furious after every exchange. As Bakugo reaches his boiling point, he stores up a significant quantity of his sweat within his gauntlets and launches a massive blast towards Deku before All Might could stop him. Fortunately, Deku dodges by running through the wall, creating a hole. Taking the advantage of the smoke distracting Bakugo, Deku runs through the wall, punching Bakugo in the stomach with 5% of One for All, knocking Bakugo out. Deku then restrains Bakugo with the capture tape before catching up with Ochako. As Deku reaches the bomb, he notices Ochako attempting to touch the weapon while Ida dodges. Deku decides to hide behind a pillar, waiting for the right moment to strike. Once he sees an opening, Deku breaks down the pillar he was hiding behind for Ochako to utilize before running towards the bomb while telling Ochako to use the pillar's fragments as projectiles. As Ida attempts to dodge Deku, Ochako uses the pillar as a baseball bat, launching pieces of debris in the direction that Ida was running towards, which hits him and causes Ida to fall over. Making full use of the opportunity, Deku dashes over and grabs the bomb, winning the match. The next few matches were uneventful, except for a boy named Shoto Todoroki. he freezes the entire building, immobilizing the opponents and single-handedly winning the match. Soon, it was Tanjiro's turn to fight. Before we get back into the story, I would like to say that we've got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes over the hard facts of the anime presented. Now, in case you guys didn't know, we have a third channel called We the Celestial Naruto What If. We the Celestial Naruto What If mainly focuses on our Naruto What If series. If you are interested in content like this, please go check the description below or click the eye icon in the top right corner. Now with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. During Tanjiro's match, Yaoyorozu would barricade all entrances to the room where the bomb is, and create insulating clothing for both Tanjiro and herself to combat Kaminari's quirk, as well as create several cubes of rubber that Tanjiro can use as cover while in combat. Jiro would use her quirk to listen in on where the opposing team was located and directed Kaminari to their location before leaving so she won't get in his way. As Kaminari approaches the room, he would have some difficulties with the barricade, but he manages to remove them after several minutes, entering the rubber room. As Denki carefully approaches the bomb, he was ambushed by Tanjiro, using the binding cloth to tie him up, which Denki retaliates by releasing bolts of electricity. Luckily, this was foreseen by Yaoyorozu, whose insulating cloth helped to prevent Tanjiro from getting shocked. After several minutes, Kaminari ends up frying his brain, leading to Tanjiro using the capture tape on him. Upon hearing about her partner's defeat, Jiro proceeds to listen in on where Tanjiro, Yaoyorozu, and the bomb are. Doing so ended up backfiring when Yaoyorozu uses speakers she created to blast music at max volume, deafening Jiro and knocking her out from the pain, which leads to the villain team obtaining victory. When all the lessons were over for the day, everyone introduced themselves to one another, with several people swarming Midoriya and his incredible quirk. Several people also approached Tanjiro, asking him how he survived being trained by Aizawa for so long. Sensei is actually a nice person, Tanjiro says. He just has high expectations of heroes and those who want to become heroes. That's why he is sometimes tough on us. The next day, several reporters showed up in front of UA, trying to get an interview with All Might, while interviewing some students about All Might. When they asked Aizawa to call All Might out, he responds telling them that All Might was not on duty that day and to leave as they were obstructing students from attending lessons. Later on that day, Aizawa announces that they would be voting for the class representative, in which Deku got voted up with 3 votes and Tanjiro with 2 votes. During lunch, a level 3 security alert got triggered, signaling that someone was trespassing on school grounds, and that the students needed to evacuate the building. All the students panicked as they tried to leave the building, pushing on one another. Noticing that it was actually the press that got into the school, Ida uses the jets in his legs to propel himself onto the exit sign, telling everyone not to panic, and that it was only the press that managed to get in, trying to get an interview from All Might. Ida's actions led to Deku deciding to give up the position of class rep to him, telling the class that Ida was more fit for the position after what he had demonstrated during lunch, calming down everyone who was panicking, with most of the class agreeing with Deku. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there's a few more things I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time. So, if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, I'd like to thank our Patreon supporters for helping to fund these videos. Lastly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video, as well as the editors for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that is in the description of this video and hit up the heads of one of those areas. We're always looking for new members to join us. That's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit the like button if you like the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have an amazing day.